Esther, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Um, so, how did everything work out for you last time as far as the homework? Did you have any issues or?
No, it worked out really well actually. I feel like it helped me keep track of like what it is that like triggers my anxiety. So,
Okay, great. Um, so today, I kind of wanted, just kind of going off of like our session last week, I kind of want to touch on the topic of relationships. Um, so, our relationships cause feelings, um, obviously. So, like, if something's going on that's negative, so like relationships that are conflictive, they can lead to negative feelings like anger or anxiety. And close supportive relationships can lead to positive feelings like love or happiness. Does that make sense?
yeah.
Okay. So, you and I have a relationship here. Me as the therapist and you as the client. And the key to therapy is understanding how you form relationships and how you communicate your concerns or your needs. So, if you want to just like talk about a relationship today, I can give you some feedback on that relationship, and then you can take the feedback and apply it to other relationships that are you're maybe having issues in or that you want to improve. Does that sound
Sure.
okay? Okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, awesome.
Um, okay, so first thing that comes to mind is my relationship with my friend Alyssa. I feel that lately we've been growing apart because I don't know why exactly, but it's just that I feel that maybe there are feelings of resentment between us. And I guess, like, it's just, I find it frustrating, like, talking to her as of lately. Like, I'll try to get a point across, but it'll come off to her as, like, something negative, and I just don't even know what to do anymore. So,
Okay.
yeah, that's how I'm
Okay.
feeling.
Yeah, no, sure, that sounds really frustrating. Can you give me some like specific examples of the of like maybe an issue you had with her or some of the problems that you're having with her?
So, sure. So, for instance, like, we work together as well. Earlier today, I remember we had, or she was visibly upset, and I went up to her trying to comfort her, trying to like ask her what the situation was, and she was just basically like responded with like leave me alone, kind of like what do you care, and like
Yeah.
walked away. And I don't understand. Like I don't know what to do anymore at this point. Like I have like it makes me like angry, but at the same time I just don't like want to deal with it
Okay.
anymore.
Yeah, I mean, that's totally understandable. So when she kind of told you, like, hey, I really don't know why you care, like, why do you want to know? When she said that to you, how did that, like, make you feel emotionally? Like, how did you feel when she said that to you?
I mean, initially just like anger, and then like very quickly translated to like kind of just like being upset, like sad, like I just confused almost, like why am I being treated this way?
Yeah,
That's how.
that sounds like a really normal reaction when somebody says that to you, especially if you're close to them. Um, so tell me more about how, like, about your feelings, I guess, revolving around that scenario, revolving around that situation.
So yeah, so like honestly, my intent was to like comfort and like be supportive,
Yeah.
but I'm just like I guess what's wrong with our relationship, I think on both ends, is that we're both kind of like getting tired of like trying to communicate like properly like with one another. I just feel like it always translates into like I don't know, just some feelings of negativity. Like I don't actually care how you feel. Like
Yeah.
I'm just doing this because I have to, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I definitely
that's that.
understand. That sounds really, that sounds like kind of a
Mm-hmm.
difficult situation, especially since you're living together and you work together. Um, you seem a little bit uncomfortable talking about it, about kind of the situation with her. You're not really making eye contact and you kind of keep clicking your pen. Um, how does like talking about this make you feel?
You're right. It's definitely like an uncomfortable topic, just
Mhm.
because like it's not something that I feel that I'm ready to deal with, and so like whenever like I'm talking about it, it's almost like admitting that it's an actual issue versus like not talking about it or thinking about it. Makes me feel like like whatever, like we'll get through this. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's almost like admitting that yeah, there's an actual like serious problem.
Okay. So that's a little bit, it's really great that you're acknowledging that, there's probably an issue there or a problem, but you're being a little bit vague on, like, talking about the problem. So, like, what do you think the actual, like, problem is between, like, you and her? Like,
I think there are definitely a lot of like underlying feelings of resentment. Like I said, I just feel like in the past we may have dealt with each other in ways that weren't like so conventional. I don't know. I just feel like, especially like from my end, I felt that like whenever in the past she needed support, I didn't give it to her, and I
mm-hmm.
do feel bad about that. I just don't know how to like communicate that I am truly sorry, but I am like here for you now, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, definitely like a lot of feelings of resentment, um, just built up resentment that like we haven't like talked about. So that's the issue.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. And that definitely makes sense. Um, so I just like want to say a couple things about how, like communication and things like that. So it's something you probably already know, but once you say something, you can't really take it back, and that's definitely something that I think a lot of people struggle with. Like it's just one of those things that you say like in the heat of the moment, or if you're really frustrated or really upset. A lot of times you can just say something that you don't really mean, or something that's a little bit not something that's a little bit vague that somebody else can misconstrue.
Yeah.
So just maybe like watch out for that, especially if you're feeling kind of hurt or like upset. Um, so something that we can do to reduce the ambiguity, I guess, of the things that we say, or maybe the harshness of the things that we say, involves using something called an I statement. Um, this can be done. Um, Basically, an example would be like if you're really frustrated with your roommate, maybe she doesn't let you know when she's going to be really, really late coming home, and clearly that could worry you. So instead of like when she gets home, saying, well, you never call me when you're going to be late, and saying that kind of like in the heat of the moment in a very accusatory way, or just, in a way that could be coming from a place of hurt, but that could be translated into, something that's out of anger. That can kind of lead to just like further issues. So, something like an alternative statement that you could say would be, it, I get really, really worried when you don't let me know that you're going to be late coming home because something could happen to you and I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
So, like, do you see the difference there between the two statements?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it makes sense. I feel like it's definitely something that I can work on.
Okay.
Um, Not only with her, but with other people.
Great. Yeah. And then something else that I like to encourage my clients to do is to kind of put yourself into the person who you're having difficulties with. Put yourself into their shoes if you can. Try to kind of take their perspective on an issue, because oftentimes it's a little bit easier to understand why they're acting or doing the things they're doing when you kind of put yourself in their shoes, and you can kind of say, hey, if this were happening to me, or if this were going on, then I might react in this way. Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense too?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Definitely something else I can do.
Okay, great. So actually, for the end of this session, I'm gonna give you another little piece of homework. um, so kind of like branching off of what we did last week. So just to kind of sum everything up, last week your homework assignment was to keep a daily journal, a daily log, just of kind of your emotions and your feelings, and also about your relationships. So, adding to that, this week I really would like if you could kind of do the same thing, but if an event happens throughout the day that kind of causes you to have a conflict with somebody else, really focus on trying to implement the I statements into your daily life. And then what I would like for you to do is just kind of log those in the journal under that day. So just maybe give like a 5 sentence description of the situation and then write the I statement that you used. Do you feel like that would be something that could help you?
Definitely. I
Okay.
like that.
Okay, great. Um, so just kind of wrapping everything up. Um, so today we kind of talked about relationships, and you were telling me about like a conflictual relationship that was going on between you and your roommate. You were kind of having some issues at work, and you feel like there's a lot of built up resentment there, just because of occurrences that had happened in the past. Um, we went over how like these situations made you feel, and we kind of talked about being more aware of what you're saying and how you're saying it when you're communicating with this individual. Um, and then we talked about the use of I statements and kind of trying to use a different perspective when being addressed, like when addressing a situation that could be a little bit uncomfortable or that you feel has like some high emotions in that situation. Does that sound about
Yeah.
right? Okay, great. Um, well, thank you so much for coming in today, and I really look forward to seeing you next week. And do you feel like this session was helpful? Do you feel like some things were like addressed and kind of helped you see a little bit clearer into your relationships and how you communicate in them?
Definitely, I feel that the I statements can definitely help when like communicating with like my friend, just because I feel like a lot of the times I do come off as like aggressive, kind of like accusing
Yeah.
to her, and I feel like that can definitely help. And also the putting myself in like the other person's perspective, just trying to like it's something that I try to do, but I feel like I don't do as often, and I
Hmm.
definitely think whenever I think about it, it's always like end up better than other times. So
Okay,
my communication.
awesome.
Hmm.
Great. I'm so glad that you feel like those things are going to help you. And just again to verify, you feel like the homework is something you can complete and do.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming in. I really enjoyed talking with you today, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your afternoon.
Thank you so much. See you next week.
All right. See ya. Bye.